Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on this lathe, and I'm going to try to push myself on this lathe to get this done, so I'm probably not going to do a whole lot of video, and I'm going to do bits and pieces, and that's about it. The thing that we're going to do now in this video is probably just disassemble it, but before we get started, we got to make sure we take a lot of pictures. I mean a lot of pictures. Every angle, even if you think they're not important, you take pictures as you go. I want this thing to be exactly the way it was and the way it was meant to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking this thing apart. First thing we take off is the tool post. Look at that tiny little thing, man. Wow. You don't want to lose any of these pieces. So I've got a little thing here I put my stuff in. So before we get started, I'm going to go get my phone and we're going to take some pictures. So now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to clean them ways up. And we're going to try steel wool to begin with. And the only reason we're doing this is so that this thing will move freely without a whole lot of aggravation. So let's free it up so at least we can move it when we need to. And we'll take a little bit of oil and put on that. So now it'll move for us. So now we got to take the lead screw out. So we got to figure out how we got to get the lead screw out. Now remember, I've never taken one of these apart. So this one's a new lathe. I mean, the fundamentals are the same. You just got some different techniques. So let's take this and see if we can go ahead and get the door off of it. It's just a straight screwdriver on a hinge. It looks like it's a homemade hinge because it don't look like it's the hinge that belongs to it. However, that's what's going to go back on it, but I'm going to straighten it first. So we want to put these screws back in the hole so we don't lose them. It stays with it. So you can see the paint in it's just flaking off of it. So we're hoping that'll work in our favor, because it looks like it's pretty nice. Let's just hope that none of it's stuck real good. And I'm not sure about this carpet on my bench because it camouflages my screws. I have a hard time finding stuff already. So I may have to change that carpet. Alright. So now we want to, looks to me like it's just a C-clip. Nope, it's a straight screw. You get a screwdriver that's not so wide. And I got real good pictures. Well, I definitely don't want to break it, so what's holding it? Yeah, I don't know why that's not coming out. Alright, let me back that off. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about prying on that. That's just that old. There we go. Boy, that was really on there. Now, let's see if it's banjo. I keep grabbing that screwdriver. The tip got broke off of it. When I went to fix it, it's wider, and I never made it thinner. So there's the banjo and the set screw that squeezed it together, and it looks like it's in good shape. So we'll leave that together until we're ready to tackle that, and we'll take care of both of these at the same time. So we'll leave that together so we know for sure that went with that. Alright, so now the next thing we need to do is take them off and hope they come off easier. You want to put that screw back in there. That one came off pretty easy. Alright, we need an Allen head for there. And that comes off. Well, I wonder if this slides off. Because the needle on that thing is seized up. Alright, there's a screw right there. Well, if I'd have known there was a nut on it, it would have came loose a little easier. Alright, so now what comes off? Well, it all comes off. You got a little brass bushing in there. Brass bushing in that one. Now I got to figure out where it swivels. Alright, well, first of all, I need to free up that ball because alright, so apparently that screws up against that. I thought that this thing had a ball up in there with a spring. That would make sense. But we're going to leave it the way it is. We'll clean it up. That's why thought it was locked up because I thought that was a spring-loaded ball so you can move it easy. But apparently you have to unscrew that before you turn it. Alright, so now we'll put this back on there. And then we got another nut back here in the back. Looks to be about a ½ inch. Yep. So let's get in behind here and take that loose. Alright, so I think that is a spacer. I'm not sure. If I can get it to move a hair, I'll know. I don't want to hold this too tight. Yeah, I don't want to mar it up. But it seems to me like maybe that pin comes out of there. Let's try that. Looks to me like it does. No. It almost looks like it's one piece. So how would you get this off? So does the lead screw come out this way? We're going to learn. How many people screaming at the screen? So let's see if that goes out that way. By God, it does. Alright. It's a little on the tight side, so I want to get something to push on that. Actually, we'll use this and just very lightly clamp it. Well, the problem is that thing's in the way and I can't get a hold. And you got two bushings, one goes on the lead screw and then one goes after the lead screw. Alright, so then we pull this clear out. Well, that's definitely a machined fit right there now. So now we got our lead screw off, and this here I believe is all one piece. I'm having a hard time believing that they would make that all one piece, so I'm going to... Looks to me like that thing presses on there. It does. So we don't need to take that loose. We're just going to wire wheel it and it'll look just as good as it did if I did take it apart. So we'll just put that together, put that back in there, and then we're going to put these bushings back on there just like that. And then we're going to put this back on there where it's supposed to be. That way we don't lose any of it, because we don't want to be losing parts. And then when we're ready to do this part, all this will get done at the same time. So we'll set that aside. Alright, now I probably should have taken the chuck off first. And then we got our 4-jaw independent chuck. Alright, so now we're ready to take the head off of it. We've got that off. We'll clean that up. That'll be painted probably either flat black or probably flat black. I don't know, it might do gloss, because gloss is, if you do flat black, it'll look terrible if it gets greasy. So we'll probably use gloss black on that. Clean up the screws. Alright, then let's go ahead and take this off. Here I am grabbing frickin' metric like a dummy. This is what I like working on, standard. Screw a bunch of metric. And we'll take those and we'll put them back on there once we get this loose. And we'll put them back on there, because we'll do them at the same time we clean the cross slide. Alright, we got our gib that we got to remember is in there, so that'll be taken apart separately, but we'll do all that at one time. Alright, so now let's see if we can't get this out. Alright, there's a pin in that right there, I believe just drives out, but I don't think we need to. Same thing with the handle, it's got a pin that drives out. So let's get it off first. Slide that off. And this lathe is not in that bad a shape. Everything's pretty solid, and we got our gib in there. You don't want to lose that. So we'll lay that right there. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get this off. So we're going to have to take this piece here off, the bearing. And take a dead blow and just kind of tap it. Well, it don't want to come out. I don't want to break it. There it comes. Goes in a square hole. So we'll put that there, and we'll put our screws back in. And there's your lead screw bearing. Alright, well, we have to take the screws back out to get the compound off, or saddle. So I guess we can go ahead and leave that in there. I'll probably put that in a Ziploc or something, as long as I don't mess that pile up. Alright, so now we'll got to do some policing here. With a screwdriver, because there's something there holding it. Alright, well, there's a problem. I think the handle has to come off first because it's hitting the body. No? Well, that's messed up. Yeah, it's hitting the body here. So I must have to take that out, but I don't know how you get up in there to take that out. That don't make no sense why that's that way. So I'm wondering if I don't need to take this off first. You got a plate on the back of it that bolts up on it, and maybe that'll allow it enough to get it up past that. There we go. Had to loosen the give. Now that handle there was hitting it, so we have to remember that when we go to put it back on. And we don't want to lose our... Actually, it's not a give. Just two little plates that holds it down on there. And it is a actual half nut. It doesn't have two sides. Alright, so we'll leave that the way it is. Now we'll go ahead and take the headstock off. And that takes a 1/2 inch. Half-inch bolt, 2 of them for the headstock. So I really am not interested in taking that thing clear apart, but I may have to. That thing looks complex. Because look how it turns. That don't look right. See, I can turn both of those, so I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. But I'm going to have to, because I got to get all that paint out of there. I want this thing to look like it was brand new. Alright, so now we get to start looking for numbers. And we got a D-3501. Got a letter Q. Then we got the plate. I don't see any numbers in here, and I don't believe they would even have numbers in here. Yeah, this is going to be a sweet little lathe when I'm done with it. I'm going to make this thing work like it did when it was brand new. we're going to try our best anyway. So we want to put our bolts all together. You always want to keep your stuff together. So we'll put this back in here, and then all this will get cleaned up in one session. I'm trying to get this done by Saturday, so I can set this one aside, because I'm going to have to do the Logan next. So if I've got this nice and pretty and dirt free, I can just set it on my kitchen table. Yes, a woman would have a frickin' field day with that one, wouldn't she? Good thing I don't have a woman. But it ain't from lack of looking. Anyway, so there's the tear down. And don't be surprised if I come back and parts are cleaned and it's ready to go back together. I don't know. I'm just going to be doing a lot of cleaning up with gas, wire brushing. We'll show some stuff along the way. So there's the start on the get my cleaner rag. There's the start on the 101 or 109 Craftsman lathe. I'm pretty sure it's Craftsman. Oh, and by the way, I just heard that Sears and Roebuck was going to file bankruptcy. And it just so happens that's what this is. So that's going to be sad, because I've got sockets that need to be returned to get. I got a couple sockets from a set that needs to go back and get another one. But I think that's going to be a thing of the past now. I don't know what you all have heard. But yeah, I heard that Sears is going bankruptcy. They're filing bankruptcy. So I guess they gave away too many warranties on their tools. So now I just need to get the piece that goes on this, and I'm probably going to have to make a T for it, unless he's got that with it, I don't know. And a bolt that bolts that down. And this will be a complete lathe. And then I've already talked to you about what kind of a motor system I was going to put on it in the last video. So anyway, I hope this helped anybody out who's taken one apart as to how it comes apart. I was a little flustered there on that lead screw and the plate, but now that I see how it goes, it won't be a problem. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you want to help the shop out, you can do so with PayPal through bisonworkshop@gmail.com. You guys have a good one. Later.